Hey everybody, welcome back to our class, Trading ThinkScript. My name is Mike Fairbourn, Senior Manager Trading Derivatives at Charles Schwab. And folks, hope you've been enjoying this bounce back in the market that we've seen off the bottom. A little bit of an interesting bounce that we saw and really a focus that I wanted to look at because it can, and oftentimes is looked at, is a high probability candlestick bounce. And it did actually unfold across the market as well. You'll see that candlestick setup, what we're going to be looking at today. But we're going to talk about that code. We're going to develop that so we can visually pick up on it and talk about why it can be a more significant candlestick bounce, a reversal. It's oftentimes they are sharper reversals that do tend, or they can tend to extend in a trend. And so one that a lot of traders will keep an eye on. But having said all that, welcome to all of you. Hello to you, John, Robert, live for the fast lane. We've got David, Sharon, the Wire Rabbit, Scott coming to us live from Hawaii. All right. Aloha to you, Scott, as well as others here in the chat. We do have a super chatter on with us today. Her name is Connie Hill. I say that because Connie did step in today and really pick up several chats that were needed today. So thank you, Connie. I don't know if this is your third or fourth one in a row, but we're very, very lucky to have Connie here. She's very knowledgeable on the topic. Is one of, I think, two coaches that we do have that does hold the CMT, Chartered Market Technician designation. So Connie is a great go-to source in many cases for technical analysis. So having said that, yeah, any questions, comments you have, throw those in the chat so we can address those. But I'm looking forward to our discussion, getting into a higher probability candlestick script that a lot of traders will utilize. So with that, let's hit the disclosures to get rolling here. Information here is for general information purposes only and should not be considered an individualized recommendation or personalized investment advice. paperMoney software application, that too is for education purposes only. As we go through our practice example trades within paperMoney today, we do have several of those to look at. Now, backtesting results presented are hypothetical, and there's no guarantee that the same strategy implemented today would produce similar results. As they say, history oftentimes rhymes, but it's not exactly the same. It can vary over time. Now, investing involves risk, including for some products more than your initial investment. Past performance of any security or strategy does not guarantee future results or success. Now, you'll see at the bottom, we do have futures listed here. Futures and futures options trading involves substantial risk, not suitable for all investors. Folks, we don't trade in this class. We have other classes that do that, but we do like to reference the charts from time to time. So having said all that, let's just go ahead and get the show rolling here. And we're going to take a look at where our markets are at. And folks, that has been a big bounce. You can see this was actually the initial move that I mentioned, in my markets and sectors classes, was the swing trade class in terms of a measure. We're not going to see black on black. That's really tough to see. How about blue on black background? There you go. Straight line, though, would be great. Okay, here we go. Let's do both. Perfect. Okay, so off the bottom, off the top, folks, one of those gaps can be a measurement gap. Do you see that same distance we measured over here? I bring this up to you guys because you guys are technical analysts. Many of you are very, very good and very well versed at this. What's interesting is we're coming right up to that level with there it is. Our topic today is candlesticks. Although we're not going to be looking at this, this can form a candlestick pattern that we're going to be looking at. That is a morning star or an evening star pattern. Those can oftentimes be sharper type reversals. I don't know if you guys caught this, but this is clearly morning star-ish right here. And it's three candles. I'm going to be talking about it here in just a second. I had one other reference point I wanted to make here, but it's those three bars right there. I've got a lot of lines, so let me just do that again. It's these three. The middle one is the bottom candle, and you've got one to the left and one to the right. Now, I've been working on a code to help present this on ThinkScript, and it's funny because there's more than one way to do it. I think I might have found the easiest way to explain within the code. We're going to be talking about this. There's a lot that's actually going on. When you get three candles back to back like this that fill in a pattern, there's more. There can be a lot more to it. in terms of what's actually going on behind the scenes. And when I say behind the scenes, I'm talking behind the scenes as in 30-minute charts, price patterns, trends, other sorts of moves that we might be seeing here that are interesting to note. By the way, just a quick note too. I'll finish up on my measuring gap. That big gap over here, that did clear, which was interesting, is the target on that gap came right to our 7K, 7,000. And a lot of people I know traders were saying, Mike, is it really going to get above this level? Well, according to the pattern, we might. It's funny here, right as we've met that pattern, we are getting a little bit of a battle between the bulls and the bears, like a tug of war is what is oftentimes referred to as that candlestick up there. Like it's as doji-ish right now. Now, here's the thing. We don't know where it's going to end up today. There's still about 55 minutes left in the trading days. I'm looking down here and seeing. But the thing is when you get that sort of doji, and this one's a little bit like this, maybe the middle's filled in. The upper end, the bulls battled through to take it higher. The bears took it back. The lower end, the bears took it down and the bulls took it back. But the interesting thing is it can and it can mean a turning point. We don't know if it'll be a reversal point or not. The markets have led the way among many stocks, but believe it or not, we actually are seeing a fair number of companies out there that are getting this type pattern. Now, this is the bullish, but I know I was going to see it in the chat sooner or later. Now, somebody's going to type it in if I didn't bring it up. But yes, today we also did a scan to find the bearish up here too, bearish in red, coming down, which would have been the evening star. So morning off the bottom, you got the bearish off the top, which is the evening star. I've got it for both, but it can be a very, very interesting way. Now, we talked a little bit about this too last week as we developed a class. And that was a group of newer folks that were in last week. It was a class that had been mentioned across a couple of different other Schwab channels. So we did look at like using the condition wizard to get people going and started like that. We threw a few wrinkles in to those of you that were familiar with the condition wizard already. But anytime we do create, either, well, in this case, a scan, we're going to be looking at scans today. I'll just stick to the scan for now. Of course, we can set up different columns, but notice over here, left-hand side, yeah, look at that. Golden cross. Now, I did put a 1 up front because the 1 just puts it at the top of our list so I could quickly find it. But this was just a scan that was done on the S&P 500. You can see that last time we did it, there was 0. Now we've got 3. So anytime we are building scans, just to remind you as a reference point, we can open these up on the left-hand side, the gadget window, and have access to our scans. Notice I did put it up here. All these are scans we build in this class. We've done a few, but I put 1 just so I could access it quickly. But we do have others in there. Voila, there it is. So what's going on there? Well, you know what it is? We're getting a golden cross. The 50 crossing above the 200-day moving average, A, B, and B. Sometimes that can mean a longer term trend break. I'm just referencing this because we're going to be doing that today with what we've got. And as we build out this ThinkScript, these ThinkScript scans for you guys to utilize, they can be effective. They can be helpful, just being able to reference them on the left side. Now, as I'm talking a lot about these ThinkScript scans, I don't want to miss the fact of stating that they're not guaranteed for timeliness or accuracy because they are relying on the data that's coming into the platform, open, high, low, and close in many cases. Sometimes they're referencing other things too. Mostly that's for technicals, right? But we have good data, and so as long as the data is good, mathematically, it should fulfill. But yeah, haven't seen really too many issues with it. But I just want to say they're not guaranteed for timeliness or accuracy. All right, another one that could be making moves that could be a little bit higher. And when I come over here and I see this, I think many of you guys look at it kind of the same way I do, and that is, hey, how is that trend developing? Because longer term, I'm going to just state that, if I come over here and I look at this and I just draw a line through there and I draw a line over there, that is a right angle triangle. And a lot of times they do go with the underlying trend, which has been up. Not every time. Sometimes they can turn down, but just as a reference point, tapping into one of our prior scripts that we like to do in this class, HPE. Now, are you seeing anything similar here? Golden Cross. Let's just pull it up right now. 5,200, perfect. From last week, we've got it in there. And we've got our numbers in. I just got to show it. And then you guys will see that, and we can take a look at it from here. Okay, here we go. So there's your Golden Cross. Oh, is it happening? You're darn right it is. I don't like those colors at all. Those are terrible colors. They're the exact same colors as our candlestick. How on earth did we set? I don't think I think I changed it. I just didn't save it. So we'll do the 50, a little thicker too. Uh, we can keep that, sure. We'll keep it just as it, well, actually I'll go 4. And then I'll do this one so we can see it a little bit better. Oftentimes it's better just to see different colors than what your candlesticks are colored. There you go. Easier now? A little bit? Okay, a lot easier to see, especially if your name is Kevin Horner, who is colorblind to a degree. He told me because, the greens and reds, kind of really tricky. But there you go. Do you see it right there? Okay, we're just getting that 50 coming over. Now, these can represent longer term moves, a little bit more established trend moves, maybe shifting from that shorter term trend to a more back to an intermediate type trend. In fact, look over here with me. This is an example right there that we had of a crossover, and it did follow a big run. Now, it didn't have to, but it's just representing the trend. And so, what some traders might be seeing here, big picture, folks, is just simply this. Now I missed my, okay, I think I'll get our color back now. Okay, so yeah, this upward move, could it be another upward move over here because we're getting this? We wouldn't have known necessarily had we not had a thinkScript scan over here to help us maybe find some of these issues, or at least bare minimum, just bare minimum, to look behind the scenes and say, what's going on here? Well, let's look at one more. I'm still going to put a paper money trade on one of these because it is thinkScript, and that's what we do in this class is we trade those thinkScripts. This one here has been, we just broke over here, and we just barely broke above here. Now, what's interesting about this NRG energy is this. Do you see the little bit? There's your gap. We cleared some resistance here. Oh, yeah. And we got a little bit of a mini bull flag here. So much easier to find these patterns, when the markets are actually going up. Last time I checked this, yeah, it was 0. We had 0 over here, but that's okay. If you're not seeing it, sometimes trading, it's better to stay on the sidelines too. You got to look at both sides. But there's Airbnb. I don't know how you guys feel about that. Here is Hewlett Packard. I'm just going to do a quick reference on our weekly chart. Yeah, it's kind of like a longer term weekly flag. Very long over here. Look at that. But we held a lot of ground. This is a lower price stock. We're just going to put a trade in here, and we'll keep it in our ThinkScript trades. Here's the note. I'm going to mix it up a little bit. We're gonna buy 50 paper money shares right now. If it breaks up higher and actually takes out resistance, we can add another 50. So a little bit of trade management, if you will. That way, if it does pull back, um, and we decide to get out, we're only losing on 50 shares as opposed to, the full 100 as an example. All right, so let's go to our trade tab. Let's pull it up right now. Go to the ask, and I'm going to go into buy custom. Sure. Let's do an OCO bracket order on this. And we'll pull this up over here. And just a quick note on this too, as we jump in here, uh, stops and stop orders they're not guaranteed um, to be filled at that stop price. Instead, once they are triggered, they do go out and compete with other existing orders in the market. Okay. Other market orders out there already. Okay, so we've got an upside, we've got a downside here. I'm just going to extend this up just so we have a bit of a range. And this could be higher if we were looking at an entire bull flag, for example. I'm just going to, for now, let's just go 30 down below. I could just knock it down a little bit, and then we can visually take a look at it. But everybody good with this? Just starting off with 50. If it were taking it out, again, this is a play trading ThinkScript on a previous trade over here, which was the, a previous ThinkScript scan, the Golden Cross, which did finally pop. You don't always get a ton over here anyways, but there you go. Always look at the dialog box. We'll go ahead and just put this trade in right now. And there you go. All right. So let's pull this down here. What I'll do is I'm going to use this as a flag type trading range. I'm going to put the initial stop below this level right there, below the last low, as you can see. But at the same time, I'm going to go ahead and just do a quick measurement of a flag super fast because we've got plenty to look at here, more to look at. Actually, you know what? I'm going to use this range right here. So this was actually the low. There's the trade. Okay, there's the low before we took off right there. Everybody see that right there? There's the low to the high. I'm talking about flag patterns, like kind of like the swing trade class. I'm going to use, because we've got a little bit of what I would say is a pennant pattern. I'm going to use off this low right here off 24 to measure that range. Let's zoom in so I can actually show you a little bit better. Okay, so the trajectory to the upside is going to be somewhere like this for this price pattern. Whether it goes there or not, this is what traders will use for price patterns. So there you go, right in that range. And so somewhere in here for a referred to as a T2 target, I'll go ahead and pull this down, and there you go, right near that. Oh, not quite. Let's just make sure we don't miss it right there. Okay, boom. Cool. Well, we'll have these up from time to time as we look through our our think scripts. We'll go through here and take a look at these. But for now, what I wanted to take a look at is talk about, we'll go back to the S&P 500 for this, but I'm just going to jump back here and highlight this. And by the way, I did notice that, and sometimes when you're looking at, as we shift now back into the Morningstar, kind of the core of our presentation here, over here, this off of this low, sometimes where candlesticks make the most sense, everybody, is say, for example, we're looking over here, and I'm going to go over here in this far corner, like right in this range right there. Okay. Now, do you see off of that bounce where there could have been an interesting reversal pattern? Look right there with me. Do you see it? What we saw here is similar. This is actually more of a Morningstar, but I've noticed that the Morningstar patterns or Morningstar kind of Morningstar-ish type patterns will fulfill, they can fulfill similarly, and they can be very, very sharp moves. So this was off an interesting level here. You can see now, I realize this is just in hindsight, but what made this kind of unique over here? So drawing your attention over here, folks, we had a prior low right there, and we stopped right on that same low. This was a gap pattern. I'll zoom in so you can check it out. There you go. Still in the same area. Probably a lot easier to see here. Notice we had this bar, and then we gapped down lower, and then we gapped up. When you're getting gap downs and gap ups, there's this thing referred to as an exhaustion gap that you might get at the bottom, and then you might also get a running gap. And it's a combination of the two. But where candlesticks happen, and this could be true of any candlestick pattern, where they become a lot of times just more useful to the trader is when they're happening at maybe a prior low, a support level of some sort. Like I said, this level we jumped up, you can find a lot of support on a gap. Right here, since we already have up here our simple moving average, right? Our 200-day moving average. Notice where we stopped at. The bottom of that Morningstar was right there. So this is not built into the code. The candlestick is only built into this thinkScript scanning code that we're going to take a look at here in just a second. That's it. So we've got to use our eyes to kind of visualize it as well. Other technical skills to just pick up and see where that might be. Like look over here with me too. Trend is up and you're coming down here and look at this. That's a very, very clear, I mean, right there, that's a candlestick. Now, it wasn't at like a moving average support, but it was clearly at that bottom. Again, right near that bottom of, what's that? Another sort of morning star. It's these sharp bounces with the gap coming down and the gap coming up that can help to power these moves going up. We just saw this one here that we just looked at. I'll pull it back over again off of the bottom. Now, we're almost to the scan, but let's just do this because this is critical. We have enough data to pull this up as well. What's happening over this time frame? Well, we got one bar coming down here, And then we've got one bar kind of settling at this point, and then we've got another one coming up. Now, what does that represent when we're really looking at it? It's more than one candlestick. This one pattern by itself is a what referred to as a confluence of candlesticks. Now, sometimes you might get one, two, three dojis in a row or hammers in a row. That's called like a triple, what is it, triple doji? I mean, there's actually there's a pattern out there too called a tweezer bottom and a tweezer top. That's like two candlesticks in a row. This one pattern has three bars within it, and there's something going on here. I'm going to show it to you on this one. That's what I think might also, traders might look at this as saying it could also give it some insight to maybe a possibility of a powerful move. What's going on here is this. You might find on a bigger scale, shoulder, head, shoulder. We talked about this. But when you just look at those days, we're looking at a 30-minute chart, but it was literally on a short-term basis, you're getting this. Like a shoulder, head, shoulder. This was within a bigger one. And it's always fascinating to look at bigger candles, smaller candle patterns or price patterns. In this case, price patterns within larger patterns. But the morning star is actually showing us this. You'll see it now. Look at this. Shoulder, head, shoulder. They're not perfect. They don't always line up like this. Sometimes it's not as far down, but a lot of times they are very close. And these can be considered longer term bottoms right there. Longer term sort of reversal bottoms by some traders. They'll look at that. This candlestick pattern, this scan is actually pulling up here for us or helping us to find and what could be, and as oftentimes is, an intraday inverted head and shoulders price pattern. So when they start to fulfill, that's sometimes why they might run a little bit longer. So we just wanted to break it down because it's a little bit more than just saying it's a candle pattern. I mean, what's happening? You can kind of see it as you look at it now, right? Do you see it? Shoulder, head, shoulder. Now, it wasn't really known as a price pattern, it's just known as a candlestick pattern, but you're getting kind of two for one. So let's do this. Let's go to the scan. Oh, I've got it pulled up already. Okay, this is the scan. Let's explain it here in just a second as to exactly what is going on. There are a few things that are interesting to point out here. Before I do that, though, I'm just going to look at yeah, is Steve Neeson still, Neeson still alive? Yeah, that was actually, he'd written a number of different books. Well, that was one of the authors in terms of, I mean, my first book I ever read, I don't know the name of it or anything, but it was a Japanese candlestick book on technical analysis. That was a long time ago, though. I want to say that was 95, 96. So, yeah, a long time ago. And by the way, when I read that book, I thought, wow, I got it all figured out. Didn't have to think about all these other things, but because everything in that book either went up or went down after the candlestick. You couldn't question it, right? It was just like, whoa, is this how it really moves? It's an approach that you can add, like just like we were saying. Nothing's 100%. Support and resistance can be helpful. Trend. What about a trend? What about other indicators that we talked about in this class? That other one that we saw had been bouncing off of, well, it was earlier in the market. That had actually been bouncing off golden cross with a morning star. So it's pretty extensive. Anyways, yeah, that's an interesting question. I don't know. That's a fascinating point. And let's look at some of these. So these are companies that have had that. Let's pull it up and let's just take a look and see how this scan is working. Now, what I did date it April 2026, so we have it. It's scanning in the S&P 500. Very important to do. We are in the scan tab. We're in the stock hacker. Share the screen in just a second, but let's talk and just show you what's going on here. So we've got it right here. MOS. That's one. Okay, let's take a look and see what we've got with MOS. We do not have a more, let's see, a golden cross. We'll keep it on though, just take a look at it, but let's scoot on over and let's just see what we've got. Do you guys see the morning star coming up? We're getting what, like 10 or so? We're getting 10 out of 500 stocks. Well, it's the S&P 500. Do you see it right there? Okay, so we have the gap. It found the gap for us. It's right there. There's your middle and there's your follow through. Now, Interesting because, like I said, traders might look at a higher probability bounce coming in here. It doesn't take away all the risks or anything. We're just saying that you could look into it more and you could watch it for additional follow through, things like that. But look where it's happening. Let's get some yellow in here just to differentiate this. Look at this. Well, oh, that's kind of a low, a next low, and over here as well. Right? It's happening at a low end. Now, will it be enough to get here or higher? That's the question mark. You could look into something like this. We're not going to look at everything at the bottom because you're not going to see these at the bottom. Sometimes traders like to look for trends as well coming in there. Trends can play a key role. Let's go back and just hit a couple more as we look at this. Um, let's see. BLO, a Valero. Yeah, COP's in there too. ConocoPhillips. Okay, case in point. By the way, that one's right at the 50 period moving average. A couple of energy stocks in here. That's your pullback right there. Are you getting a follow through day yet? Well, by definition, what else are we're seeing here, you guys? There's something else in here that's kind of fascinating. We haven't got it yet. We can't confirm it because it is a close above the high of the low day. Hold. Morning stars would be a Cahold as well. Now, I've seen a lot of Caholds that aren't morning stars, believe me, a lot, but this has got that. Might have an intraday price pattern. And what are we looking for? Support. And there's some support over here sideways, but definitely on the 50. I mean, we're bouncing off the 50. So maybe something to watch here. Okay, that's what we're looking at. Maybe a Cahold. We're getting close to the end of the day. About roughly a half hour left in the trading day. It looks like it could be a Cahold, but we won't know until it gets there. That's on our list. VLO. Okay. Again, what is this? This does not look anything like that. Boom, boom, that bottom over here, which by the way, we have people in this class that do like tops or more momentum on the upside. Some people do like the more value that you might find off the bottom. So this is going to give you a variation of those, just like we saw on the S&P 500. See the morning star right there? Beautiful. Right off the 50. And guess what this was? Right off the gap as well. Now, if you're looking at this scan frequently enough, you're going to start seeing these that'll pop up because this one absolutely should have been pulled by the scan, the way that the scan is set up. Over here too, though, what are you guys seeing? Are you seeing what I'm seeing? The possibility of a what? Lag pattern right there. I mean, I just drew it. It's setting up for the possibility of a flag. The flag will be when it starts to follow through. But this is what, and this is one of the patterns that traders like to look at too. And you're getting that at the end of the flag. So a lot of it, when we're looking at price patterns too, traders are looking for timing. They want the timing. This is kind of, remember, candlesticks kind of help with, it's kind of referred to as a trigger. I've heard them say it's a trigger before. Now, this is just, we're just looking at these are paper money stocks. We're just looking at these. I mean, these are setting up in the markets as what we're talking about, but just paper money. But we're saying that when you get the candlestick, a lot of times it's like, hey, you get the setup and then you wait for the trigger. Well, sometimes people would say the general setup might be the trend. It might be a flag pattern, a price pattern within the trend, but then the candle is kind of the well, I'll put it this way. I've heard the word trigger. I've heard the word timing mechanism, or some even say like a signal. But it could be the start of that candle sort of unfolding. That's the question. But I'm just mentioning ways that traders might look at this. In other words, they might be waiting. A hold would be something similar too, but they might be waiting for that to happen, and this is something that they could be waiting for. All right, have we seen enough? Let's go ahead and pull up the scan because I got the other scan to share as well. In fact, I'll do it right now. Again, ThinkScripts are not guaranteed for timeliness or accuracy, but I'll go ahead and just share this one right now. And this is going to be our morning star. And let's pull it up. I'll send this over right now into the chat. Again, when you get those, just go to the setup, open the shared item as you copied it in. preview it, import it, and then you'll have it in right in your scan. You got to be in the scan in Stock Hacker, but you can be right over here too in and then just load it where you've saved it, okay? And then you'll have it there listed there for you. All right. Now I want to go ahead and do this because I just looked at that one and I always like to put these trades in as well in this class because we do trade the think scripts that we are seeing. And a lot of times we demand quite a bit from those think scripts too. I mean, they kind of have to be doing exactly what the code wants, and we don't get a lot of companies that come up. Case in point, we had 11 here. So let's do this right now. Now, this is going to be a longer term tight flag pattern, just so you know. But this is necessary to pull this down. I'm just pulling down, uh, off of the y-axis here so we can get that full retracement. I'm going to pull it up right now off the bottom. That's your flag up top. I mean, that's the extent of that move. And I'm going to go ahead and copy it or duplicate it. I'm sorry, just duplicate it. Same thing. Pull it on over. If this goes up, now we don't know for sure if it will, but we might be again getting like a hold an inverted head and shoulders pattern short term. Here we are. Oh, look at that. Right up near 300, right there. So sometimes they can, park themselves close to target level that might be just a natural, some cases a natural resistance level. We don't know, but there it is right there. So that's going to be our target. I'm going to go ahead and just go like 295 or something. Yeah. I mean, I could even just go 294. And then we're just going to put our stop level just down a little bit from there. Basically, folks, off of the last lows is what I'm talking about. Okay. Again, stop orders aren't guaranteed that there's no guarantee the execution of a stop order will be at or near the stop price. Okay. Let's do that right now. Up top, see a bracket order 294. And we'll set this down a little bit. That's kind of an expensive stock. Let's just do this. We'll go to a 25 share on this one, tab through it. We're just whatever we're using, just different sizes here. Just it's a little bit more expensive than the last one, or just generally. So let's just go ahead and make sure everything's set up here. 294 higher, lower, and there you go. Confirm. Always read the dialog box, and we'll send it on through. Okay, let's just take a look at our chart. I'm just going to adjust these real quick so I can put that stop below this level. And I've got a target. Yeah, that's close enough to where we were after, right? But that could really represent a fairly good and very reasonable potential return, reward, and risk relationship, right? What's the potential risk? Well, it's really quite small. I mean, if we were to get out near that stop level, if it were to go down, relative, folks, relative to the reward. So the R&R, as they like to say, potential risk, potential reward, is definitely greater than a 1-to-1, right? That's greater than a 1-to-2. There's a few more moves in there. If that's the reward we're looking at, relative to risk, it's a 1-to-1 in that fashion, but greater than a 1-to-1. All right, let's continue on. There were some others in here. You guys, spend some time to go through and take a look at some of these. You're not going to get them all at the bottom. I did want to look at, gosh, look at that. That's been down for a while. This KHC, Kraft Heinz. Yeah, that's fallen out of favor. What's going on there? Okay, so that's a pretty interesting bounce. And by the way, we don't know. Listen, some traders might want to wait for this long-term downward trend. There could be signs in here, so it's just kind of to clue you in. But look at that, shoulder, head, shoulder, longer term. There's one that probably fits in there shorter term with the big recovery today, but we cannot ignore the direction of that 200-day. That's decisively lower. One thing we haven't seen in a while on this stock is something called a change in trend. That's a 1-year chart. I mean, it's just way down. And so we probably need to get up here. I mean, for a lot of traders to even be, and maybe even past an earnings announcement that says, hey, they're projecting better, something's going on, projecting better numbers or whatever the case might be. I don't know, but I mean, we've been going down and that could be definitely tied into negative earnings. A lot of competition now than it used to be. I will say this in this 70s, 80s, 90s for this company, and you take a look over there. Whoa. Okay. Yeah. Just because you get a little morning star over here on the daily chart does not mean this whole thing's going to reverse. You're looking for something greater, but some traders might want to, keep an eye on it. So that was a good example of that right there. Now, the other one that I didn't want to just ignore because it is just as fascinating, and that is the evening star, where we're getting the exact same thing, but it could be a head and shoulders top short term because you're getting this. You're getting a candle up, and then you're getting one that's just kind of neutral. It did gap up, right? But then the next bar is decisively lower. That, and we don't need to look too much further. I'm just going to pull up one right now and show you. Johnson& Johnson has one. So does Delta Airlines. Okay, let me look at Delta. I want to pull up this DAL. We can look at J&J as well. Oh, there you go. Ah, so just flip everything around. What were we talking about before? Utilizing or um, trying to utilize the support and resistance levels. And you see it right here. Look, just like it was off the bottom. Well, this is off the top. Boom, right there. So this could just say, yeah, there's resistance, and we're starting to bounce off that resistance, and that's kind of a sign of it right there. Okay. Thank you, Connie. She's put that in. I will share that one as well, and I will actually show you over here too, because you guys can access these if you are in fact interested to. I showed you how to build them, and I'd love to have you go there too if you like, because then you know how to build that I showed how to build it in our class. Uh, Here we go. Sorry, a couple weeks ago. There it is. Right up here. It was this one. Oh, by the way, while we're here, might as well just say this. Be sure and give us a follow on Trader Talks. You can just click over here too. I'll send that link in. Love to have you guys follow us already because we've got at this point 187,000 subscribers. If you're not already there, love to have you be involved. If you like this kind of content, folks, do me a favor and just smash that like button. Let's Connie and I know that this presentation is of value to you, if it's of value to you. Now, you can click on playlist, go down here, and just click over here. And what you can do is, it was this one right there. And what I'll do is I'll just click on it. Um, right there. Oh, what did I do? Sorry. I'll click on it and then stop it quick so we don't have to listen to it. There we go. Yeah, and then if you'll scroll down here underneath, you can get that description here too. Do you see it? It's right there. Yeah, I put it down here. Uh, Building your own ThinkScripts. Oh, no, actually, we've just built this one in the class. That's right. I'll kill that right there. All right, so you can just build this. I'll put this in here too. But I'd love to see you build it. But so you have that, and you can build whatever you want that way too. Okay, but I will share it in class. But it is there, and I even put the links. I killed it without even putting the link in. Okay, I'll just put this in if you guys want to check that out. I think many of you might have already seen it, but there is Condition Wizard link right there for this particular class. Now, I'll scoot on down and I'll share this. In fact, I'll just go over here into this scan and let's see. I have to actually open it up. It's at the top though. There's the golden cross. And when I get the golden cross up, I will just share it. There you go. Okay. So golden cross. How's it going, Kelly? All right. Really super simple to build though. So you guys have that. Yes. Got to get the evening star as well. So I just saw Connie's thing, and I think that probably came before I was here. So I want to just try to do it in order. Appreciate Connie letting me know about that so I can send that out because sometimes I have missed those as well. Here is the evening star. Okay, again, ThinkScript's not guaranteed for time or accuracy, but you guys utilize these. There can be a lot behind these oftentimes considered by traders high probability candlesticks. And there you go. There's that last one. All right. And finally, if you guys aren't already following us on X, Connie's got some great stuff on there, formerly Twitter. Connie Hill CS, Mike Fairbourn CS as well. I was going to look at J and J, and then we're all set. J and J. Oh, see, look at this. This is interesting. So, what does this represent? Watch. Okay, this is interesting stuff because you're getting that morning star, excuse me, evening start over here on a consolidation. If somebody was if somebody was looking for this sort of a trend up right now, they might not be getting their sign right now, and they might want to consider possibly waiting because at the end of this, this perceived flag that they think is unfolding, there might be some weakness here. So in other words, you might get lower levels, and what you wouldn't want to see is just a simply a breakdown here, which by the way, post earnings, funny things can happen. You get guidance changes and everything. So just watch that. It doesn't mean it's going to go down. It could just mean, hey, maybe it consolidates for a few more days before it goes down. Excuse me, before it goes up or whatever it does. So there you guys go. All right. Well, sort of that high probability in terms of what a lot of traders will consider one of these candlesticks can be there. I'm going to go ahead and I want to pull this up so we could use this in the future over here, everybody. But that is what I had for you today. It's always great being here and reviewing these. We did trade a few of them, well, a couple today. We did a golden cross as we traded ThinkScript, and we also did a Morningstar pattern as well to see if that would in fact unfold on CLP. So with that, everybody have a great rest of the day. Again, if you found value out of this presentation, smash that like button. Let's Connie and I know that this class was valuable, useful to you guys. And then definitely use other indicators as well, like we talked about. This can represent, though, kind of that spark sometime or that timing element, like a hold might be for to really watch it close because maybe something is starting to unfold, is the way some traders would do it. All right. On that, everybody, have a fantastic rest of the day. It's awesome being here with you. See you next time. Thanks, Connie.